Good morning. Welcome to Living Valor, a leadership presentation brought to you by the Center for American Values. To start our program, we'd like to ask everyone to please stand and remove cover as the East High School JROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors.
Color guard, halt, right, face, post, colors, freeze at arms, order, arms, left, face, forward, march.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome, everybody. It's a very exciting day, and we are proud to be joined in the Portraits of Valor Gallery by a couple of student groups. We have with us La Junta Junior Senior High Star Leadership Program. We also have the Pueblo East High School JROTC program. In addition, we have a couple of honored guests, two of our Center for American Values board members, Mr. Henry Jones and Mr. Keith Bishop. So thank you all for being here. We'd also like to take a moment to recognize the groups who are joining us virtually today. We have students from Hillcrest High School, JROTC, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Pebblebrook High School, JROTC, in Mableton, Georgia, the JROTC group and the expanded student body from Crescent City Junior Senior High in Crescent City, Florida. We also have Freedom High School, JROTC, in Morganton, North Carolina, and Rosewood High School JROTC in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And I'm going to apologize in advance if I butcher this, but we have the Konoweina High School JROTC from Kealakekua, Hawaii, joining us today. So hopefully I didn't mess up that pronunciation too badly. So thank you all for being part of this event, and thank you for the leadership that you're already showing within your schools and communities. My name is Stacy. I'm the program manager here at the center, and our mission at the center is to honor the values upon which our nation was built: honor, integrity, and patriotism. Events like this one are at the heart of what we do, bringing together young leaders like you and creating opportunities for students and cadets from across the country to learn directly from those who have lived lives of extraordinary service and sacrifice. So in that spirit, it is my honor to introduce today's distinguished guest speaker. He is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, a true American hero, and the co-founder of the Center for American Values, Major Drew Dix. Major Dix's life is a testament to selfless service and steadfast dedication to others. He continues to live his mission every day by inspiring new generations to lead with honor and to value the freedoms that we all share. You'll have the unique opportunity after you hear from Major Dix to engage in a Q&A session, so please be thinking about what questions you'd like to ask him as that opportunity arises. Before we welcome him to the podium, though, please enjoy this short video highlighting his remarkable story and contributions to our country and communities.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress March 3, 1863, has awarded in the name of the Congress the Medal of Honor to Staff Sergeant Drew D. Dix, United States Army.
Drew Dix is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. As an Army Special Forces Sergeant, during his first Vietnam tour, detailed to the CIA, Dix was awarded the Medal of Honor for heroic acts including saving lives, retaking important territory, and capturing enemy soldiers. He became the first enlisted man in the U.S. Army Special Forces to receive the Medal of Honor. Dix's military career continued for 20 years, including work in Greenland on a classified contract from 1985 to 1995 with the mission to establish ice stations on the Arctic Ocean to track Soviet submarines. Following the attacks of September 11th, he was asked by the governor of Alaska to advise him on the strategies that should be used to protect the oil infrastructure in Alaska. He served as Alaska's first Director of Homeland Security and retired from the state of Alaska as a Deputy Commissioner within the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. In a 2004 film documentary, Dix showed the humility and sense of duty we see so often in our heroes.
Anytime you receive notoriety or recognition in anything you do, your life is just starting. You should use that as a point to build upon, not just sit back on your haunches and kind of let life float by. Let's face it, if I'd done that when I was 24 years old, I wouldn't have done much since then.
His personal mission was clear: to create a national initiative to recognize and preserve the values our great country was founded on.
The founding fathers and those that fought in the Revolutionary War or were involved in the Revolutionary War, they were patriots, but not all of them carried a gun. I mean, they believed in their country. I felt that I needed to continue to serve. I'm retired. I retired from the military. I retired from another occupation. But you don't really retire. I mean, you just think of other things to do.
In 2010, Drew Dix became a founder of the Center for American Values, located in his hometown of Pueblo, Colorado. Dix's deep commitment to America and his passion for the core values of honor, integrity, and patriotism became the center's mission.
All of our vision is focused on family, community, and country. It's a foundation. If you don't have a strong family and a strong community values, you're not going to have a strong country.
Dix continues his dedication to the military.
We all have an opportunity to serve, and some of us have raised our hand to serve this nation of ours, and others can reach their hand out.
Drew Dix will continue in his quest to honor people from all walks of life who through courage and dedication have made extraordinary accomplishments. Drew Dix is a selfless hero who wants America's youth to recognize and truly understand the sacrifices made by others by providing unique educational opportunities through the Center for American Values.
Doing great work over there. Want to thank my dear friend Drew Dix. Thank you, Drew, for all you do and for all you have done for our country. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please please join me in welcoming Medal of Honor recipient Drew Dix.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I see some familiar faces here. You've been there before. You've seen that video before. And it's always good to welcome the new people here. You know, we don't have a lot in the gallery here because the schools from Pueblo and the surrounding area have been here a lot, but we're really proud that that we've got some listeners out there from across the country, all the way from the East Coast, way down there in Florida, all the way over to Hawaii, and that's really great. It's kind of early in the morning in Hawaii, so hope you're all awake, and we're pleased to have you here. When you look around the gallery here, you can see over 160 portraits of individuals that I knew every one of them. Knew them, they're like family. Unlike family, we weren't connected with blood other than blood that was shed on the battlefield, but we were connected by one common value, and that is to serve each other. You know, the Medal of Honor is not awarded for how many enemy you kill, how many bridges you take and bunkers you destroy. It's for saving individuals, for saving lives. So I'm proud to be a part of that group. Is what makes it so unique. Very humbling too, is I'm standing here as one of 63 living Medal of Honor recipients. Out there in Hawaii, I think you've got one that's still with us, and he does good work in that part of the country. So, and in North Carolina, we've got several. Some in Florida, we've got almost every state. There's a few states that don't have a Medal of Honor recipient. I mean, with 50 states and only 63 recipients, not many to go around. But the thing is the belief in what we all shared is common. And the thread that connects us is this blue ribbon, but it's also the belief that we could serve each other, just like each of you out there in our group here in Pueblo and those across the country have some interest, I know, in figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life. When I was a youngster, the Army recruiter was right down the road here, a couple blocks away. It was in a hotel. It's still there. That was, what, 64 years ago? Long time. Not much has changed. I guarantee you that what's going on in your mind is the same as what was going on in mine as a youngster. What am I going to do? What is my place in this world? How am I going to make a living? Who am I going to spend the rest of my life with? That sort of thing. Those questions are not much different than what we had and those before me and that you have now. The difference now is that there's so much for you because the information out there is to figure out what's really right and what's really wrong. And you're all smart. You're all smarter than we were because you have so much more available. But what you have to do, which is what we didn't have to do, is sort out what was true and not. Identity as a young person is very important. I absolutely, some people say, oh, I don't care. Personal identity and being accepted is very important to each of you. That's why when you decide what you want to do, you keep your eyes open, your ears open, and think about what it is information you're being given, and to think about the validity of that information. There's a lot of stuff out there that's not true. It's a scary world out there because you can see something on that phone you got or your computer and it looks real, but it's not. I guarantee it's not. But that's not what I'm here today to talk about. I'm very much interested in reaching our young people across the country. Because when I joined the Army, from junior ROTC actually, and went in at 17 years old, there's some of you out there that are older than I was that when I joined. And so you're considered a child now, and that fast you're going to be an adult wherever you are. But I ask you, because I had a great childhood, is be a child as long as you can. Because when you turn around and the burden's on you, and you're going to have to make decisions on what's right or wrong, they're going to be burdensome. And hopefully that you'll have enough knowledge and upbringing and respect to make the right decisions, because you all know what the right decisions, what is right or wrong. You know that. Because how many of you out there have been tested and you think about making a decision? And I always say, if you think about a decision more than about a minute or two, you're considering the wrong option. So you just go for it. On the battlefield, probably 100% of these folks on the wall and the other that weren't around when we started taking these photos since the Civil War, you know, there's a little over 3,500 recipients, almost, well, 2,000 awarded in the Civil War. They made their decisions spontaneous to make the difference in what's right or wrong. And more than half after the Civil War were posthumous. That means they didn't survive the battle. They didn't survive the decision they made, but they benefited someone else. Now, you might say, well, what good is that for me? Well, I don't know. I can't answer that. I survived, obviously, but I have lived my life feeling good about the decision I made. Now, I made some wrong decisions in my life, probably. A couple I may not admit, but I did. But that's because I'm 81 years old and I've gone through a lot. And unlike, you know, you're all in school now and someone's teaching you something every day. And I'm not here to teach you. I will not do that. I'm just here to talk about the experiences and to let you know that there are folks out there that have done things, and look at them. Put the value on our history, because that benefits the present, and it sure makes the present our history someday. And we want our history to be the best there can be. So the center is, you know, we were already introduced. Henry Jones over there is on the board. Keith Bishop is on the board. They're sitting right over there. Board members of the Center for American Values. Henry Jones was a police officer for 44 years. He knows how important it is to reach our youth. Believe me, he's seen it. He's seen some unfortunate circumstances where young people didn't survive. And it's guys like us that want to make sure that you have all the information there is so you can make right decisions. Keith Bishop over there, over 20 years in DEA, drug enforcement. Also, professional football player, which we're proud of, but we're really proud of his work with the DEA and all over the globe in trying to get rid of the drugs and that sort of thing, bad stuff that is affecting our young people. So we've got some talent here, but more than talent, we got the passion to do what's right. And we spend a lot of time and effort talking to our young people. So I want you to, as Stacy, when she introduced the program, she said, you'd be thinking about some questions. So I want to get some questions from you, because I think it's so important to hear what you want to hear, not just another teacher out there. Now, I don't have a PhD. I like to say I earned my PhD on the battlefield, but I did go to college, but not out of high school. I went to college after I got my battlefield commission. And now that I'm an officer, they thought I better go to college, right? So I went to college. But what I want to enforce in your mind is that whenever you decide that you're ready to make a decision, this is what I want to do for the rest of your life, you may not do it for the rest of your life. But if you live a long time like me, you're going to have a lot of time to change courses of your direction. But when you do make that decision, you go for it and do the very best you can in everything you do. whether some of you are going to maybe consider in the military. I'm not saying that you have to be in the military. I'm not saying you have to have a Medal of Honor to be successful. We only use the experiences on the battlefield to earn the Medal of Honor, to let people know that decisions are made for the benefit of others. And if you don't make those decisions, or someone doesn't jump in there and do that, then the outcome may not be as good as it could be. And you can't put yourself, oh, I'm going to go in the Army, I'm going to get a Medal of Honor. You can't do that. I didn't even know what a Medal of Honor was, other than there's 3 others from Pueblo that have the Medal of Honor, the only town in history that's had 4 living Medal of Honor recipients. And you heard me say there were 3,500, over 2,000 in the Civil War. Pueblo wasn't even around. Well, it might have been a little old island somewhere in the middle of between the Arkansas and Fountain over here, but wasn't many people. And so most of the medals of honor were awarded during the Civil War. And then after 1917, there's been over about 1,000. Almost half of those were posthumous. Means they didn't survive. So we're very proud to be able to, the best thing, let me interrupt myself, the very best thing that I have gained from wearing this medal is to be able to speak to people like you. Let's face it, they wouldn't ask me to come here and speak if I didn't have a Medal of Honor, right? Probably not. But it gave me the opportunity to get involved and create this center, to get involved into programs around the country. And what's exciting about what we're doing here is that the folks right here are connected with those in North Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Hawaii right now. And you are connected because you think about the same thing. Believe it, it's not just you in this world that spins around you. You're connected to a whole bunch of others that think like you do. Now, in my day, when I was in junior ROTC, it wasn't real cool to be in ROTC. It wasn't, but I wanted to because I respected my parent, my mother and father, but my father, who fought in World War II, I was born during World War II, my uncles, our history goes back, the Revolutionary War, there's a great uncle of mine that fired the first cannon shot that ended the Revolutionary War at Yorktown. Starling Gun, kind of a cool name, but we're connected. Now, you don't have to be in this warrior class of people to be connected, but you have, right now, you are connected with so many others around the country right now, more than any other group, unless maybe you're in football or some kind of sport. But outside of that, ROTC is a pretty good vehicle to connect like-minded folks. Now, you don't have to keep a uniform on to get the benefit of knowing that you served, even at this young age, because you know more now than what those other poor souls, classmates of yours, are just out goofing around doing stuff. But you're together and you have this connection that you won't know exactly what I'm talking about until you get older. A lot of things that your teachers and your parents and other folks talk about are things that you can't figure it out. You just don't know if it's really the way it was. We always used to say that our parents had to walk to school both ways uphill in a snowstorm. You've heard that too, some of you, right? Well, that's because, it can't be that way. But you know what? It really was. Those before me had it tougher. We had it a little tougher. You're going to have it tougher than those in front of you, because the whole idea of the human race is to make life more comfortable. But you can't make it so comfortable that you forget about everything else. You don't forget about the values of honor, of integrity, and patriotism. Everybody knows what honor is, right? You might have heard it a little different way. What's dishonorable? That explains what honor is more than anything. Integrity is a, is is a great word, and its simple definition is to do the right thing when no one else is looking around. How many YouTube things have you seen where somebody's dropped something down and they don't know? They're testing you all the time. And it may not be true, but they know they're testing your integrity. Do you understand what that is? Integrity is the most important thing as a human that you can do outside of your spiritual beliefs to live by, because that means you do the right thing for the right purpose, no matter who's looking or not. And this country of ours, it's a great country. We have a lot of faults, and we have more now than ever because we know more about these faults because of the communications. They might have always been this way. I don't know. But when I was a kid, 20 years ago, we didn't even have smartphones. Well, I don't know when they started, but in a short time, I don't know if I could be without one. And I'm thinking about getting rid of it and getting back to a flip phone because I get, I used to like the YouTube. I don't like it anymore because it's not even true. We had a podcast we did on the YouTube, and we were kind of proud of it. Now I don't do it anymore because the other stuff we're listening to is not even real. So I don't want somebody to accuse us of not being real. Does that make sense? But it's very, very important to be individuals, be proud of yourself, but it's also just as important not to let your individuality overcome your participation with your neighbors and friends and your family. You're an individual within a family, you're an individual within your group of friends. You may have some personal qualities that other might make fun of you for, whether you're exceptionally smart or maybe you're not so smart. But you're an individual. You have a right to be where you are and to think the way you do. And the others, your friends, should respect that. And it's mutual. So again, those of you that are listening, I encourage you to ask your instructors to get a collection of questions and send it to us at the Center for American Values, and we will answer them. And those questions will be the same ones that we address in a future session. This isn't one of a kind. This program we're doing now is going to last. It's going around the country. And I encourage you to talk to your friends that haven't seen it, especially our junior ROTC, and to say that this is part of a growing family, if you will. And let me explain something. You're all just about in adulthood right now. You're right there. And you're going to make some very, very important decisions soon. You're probably already making them. Some of them may be too soon. We've all talked about, heard in the news about making decisions about yourself. And I don't know what I would have done if I was your age when I was tested with all of these challenges that we have now, cultural challenges. But like I said at the beginning, you all know what is right. Deep down, you know what is right. Make the decision based on what is right. Believe other people, but verify what they have said, right? And think about why they've said it, especially if they're much, or, you know, when you're 16, 17 years old, if someone's 20, they're really old. And when you're 81 and someone's 78 or 70, it doesn't make much difference. But when you're young, a few years makes a lot of difference. And you all look up to people. You're looking for a mentor. But the other thing I want you to remember is you are a mentor. Each and every one of you, someone is looking around, whoever it is, you may not know them, they're looking around for somebody to follow. You give them the very best example of what it's like to be a good human being, and you will satisfy yourself in your role as a mentor. Just like you want to be able to respect those that you follow. So, Stacy, do we have any questions from out in the hinterlands, or how about here?
Not yet. Anyone who's watching online, at the top of your webinar screen, there is a question box. Please click on that box and type in your questions so that we can ask them to Drew. But in the meantime, we're going to start with some questions here in the gallery. So if you guys have questions, come around the podium here and come up to the microphone and we'll start asking some questions.
It's more important to hear what you've got to say. I've already talked, you know, if you talk more than about 10 minutes, you've already wasted somebody's time. Okay?
How important is community to you?
It's kind of blaring in my ear here.
How important is community to you?
Community? How important is community? It's very important. You know, your community is made up of a collection of individuals, families, and a community represents the common feeling of the collection of families. And if a community is strong, then collection of communities becomes strong. It's just like a family. The one thing that I like about communities is what I like about Pueblo. When I was a kid, there was all kinds of different people believing different things, but we weren't enemies. You know, we talked about stuff, we did stuff. There was no arguing about politics other than this small stuff, but there was no war fighting and shooting each other just because they didn't believe it. But a community needs to be a representative of your family, and it's very important. That's a good question. I really appreciate you asking that.
So my question today is, what can every American do in the very least to be patriotic?
What can every American do to be patriotic? First of all, appreciate that this country gives you the freedoms and the ability to be successful. You know, we have a lot of issues, social issues in this country. And the country pretty much tolerates that, but I can consider tolerance as a character flaw in a lot of respects. Different than patience. Patience is different. So I think the very most significant thing is happening right now is 250-year anniversary. So I would leave here, and whenever you talk to somebody, even in a casual conversation with guys and gals your age, ask them what that means to you, the 250 years, what that means. And, you know, and ask your parents. You know, I'm going to say one thing. Somebody's often criticizing the future of this country because of the youth not doing what, you know, acting like they're supposed to. Well, youth are getting a bad rap. It's the parents. They're the ones that guide the youth. And you are so close to being parents someday. Don't fall in the same rut. When you have family, you raise them right, and you make them respect. Make them, or not make them, beat them up, make them, but encourage them to believe in something, believe in their country. And if you're a religious person, believe in that. But that's the best way to honor our country and to be patriotic.
My question is, how does a soldier balance following orders with doing what is right?
Oh, I got most of that. What was?
How does a soldier balance what they're told with orders with doing what they know is right?
What did the,
How does a soldier balance being given orders versus doing what they know is right?
I thought that's what it was. But I didn't want to answer that one without, that's another thing. Don't answer anything unless you understood it. But no, that's a very good question. You've heard it in the news, right? About illegal orders and all that. Is that where you're coming from? Well, first of all, everybody knows what's right or wrong, right? And in the military, you have to have confidence in your leaders, because when you're in a battlefield, you can't possibly know what those in, in leaders know. You can't. If you're down here in the trench, you have got to believe in them. Now, the difference between a legal order and a justifiable order is not that weird. It's not, you don't have the right to refuse an order because it's uncomfortable. I mean, physically uncomfortable. But everyone here knows what an illegal order is. And I'll give you an example. In Vietnam, there were a few, and that's where it all came out. That's where this whole thing came out. It was a crazy time, and someone gave an order that was not legal because they knew there were civilians that they were targeting. That's an illegal order. It's risky to tell soldiers without explaining it the way I just did, that you can refuse an order if you just don't believe in it. That's not going to win you a war. That's not what we're getting at. We're getting at something that is so against our morals that we can't do it. And you will know what that is. That doesn't mean when someone says go attack that hill, that's an illegal order because I'm going to die maybe. But if everybody felt that way, we'd never get to the top of the hill. So it's unfortunate that the politicians have put a very, very sophisticated, difficult situation in the minds of very young people. You have to have faith in your leaders. So if you are ever challenged by that, remember, they know more than you do. But if it absolutely feels wrong, really wrong, not for your comfort or whatever, personal, but really wrong, you will know it. There is no doubt in my mind you will know it. I have never been given an illegal order. I have never given one. Not saying that somebody might say, well, that's illegal, because there might be a civilian in that village. That's different than there definitely is a civilian in that village. Good question, though. Did you walk away? If you got more to, if you're not satisfied or didn't,
He
is
said
he
he's
listening?
good.
After this is over, I'd be glad to talk to you some more.
What does patriotism mean to you beyond military service or public recognition?
What did patriotism mean beyond the military service? Yeah, patriotism is, see, in the military service, you know, we've confused things a little bit in our country, that you're only patriotic if you join the military, or if you wear a uniform, that's wrong. That's about as wrong as it can be. The military is just there to protect the country. You can be very patriotic and not be in the military. You can, put flags out. You can uh, respect the country. You can, the flag is a symbol, right? And there's freedom of speech issues, freedom of expression, all that. I'm not a big fan of that. The flag is a symbol, and it symbolizes the greatness of what we believe our country is. If you don't like our country, I guess when you get old enough and buy your own ticket, you can leave. Uh, but but I don't think that's going to happen because more people are trying to come in. But no, you absolutely do not have to be in a uniform. I never considered myself patriotic when I was in the military. I just wanted to do it. I considered a lot of those people when I came home and they were lined the streets in a parade or had flags, they were patriots. I never considered myself a patriot just because I had the military uniform on. Don't be ashamed of it because there's worse things to be ashamed of, I think, but never the country. Honor, integrity, and patriotism means that this country gives us the right to just about do anything we want to do. It's even protecting criminals nowadays, but more than what it should. But it's a great country. I've been into many of them. I don't know, 100 and some countries in this world. I've been witnessed a few revolutions. You don't want to have any part of it. We have a great life here.
We've got great questions in the gallery. As a reminder, if you're watching online, you can type in questions to the webinar platform.
Okay. What would you define honor as?
What I would define honor as? So if honor is more than just words, it's an expression that you honor something else, and like you honor your family, right? You can honor your family, you honor your country because they honor you. You can dishonor your family, you can dishonor your friends. To honor them is to show that you respect them and that they will reciprocate and respect you. It's mutually going to benefit each other.
If you had not received the Medal of Honor, would you still make the decisions you made in your life today?
That's a very good question. I had no idea what I would have done. Well, first of all, when I received the Medal of Honor, I didn't know I was going to get the Medal of Honor, right? So obviously I would have done things the same. There was more times that I questioned whether I really wanted to wear the Medal of Honor because it's kind of hard to stay in the military when everyone has expectations about what you should be doing, or because it changes you and it shouldn't. I will tell you right now that I would always have done what I wanted to do, but the Medal of Honor has drifted me away from some of those things because it's an obligation that I have to honor those that I served with, and I'm the mouthpiece for them. So if that makes sense, it's taken away from what I would have really done. I probably wouldn't have been here at the center. I might still be doing some other things that I like doing in the military and afterwards. I'd still be on the ranch probably. But in fact, I should be doing chores at the ranch. Anybody here want to go out there and do them for me? But I'm here because I have the Medal of Honor. you would not, they wouldn't be asking me to speak if I didn't have the Medal of Honor. So and I'm going to drift away from that question a little bit. And no offense to Keith Bishop over there. The Medal of Honor, just like professional ball players, doesn't make you an expert on the world situation, but it does give you the mouthpiece to talk about things that you want to talk about. But I'm not an expert on how we ought to run the world strategically. Battlefield, I know, just like a football player knows the game, but not too many football players or Medal of Honor recipients know what we ought to do in Iran because we don't have all the facts. So I would still do what I think was destined to do, but not having this dual life with the opportunity of explaining to young people what we went through. That has been a benefit. It's a treasure that I have gained to be able to speak to average people, citizens, about the sacrifices others have made. And I plan to do that from now on until I leave this world.
How important to you is belief?
How important is what?
How important to you is belief?
The last,
He's asking, how important is belief?
Belief? You mean spiritual belief or just believing in?
Just having something that you believe in.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that. I don't think there's any difference between spiritual or your personal belief, but that's a very thought-provoking question. On the battlefield, I would not have done what I had done if I didn't have complete respect and service for those I was with. Belief and your steadfast belief in what's right will carry you through a lot of the troubling times. It is very, very important it's just like knowing what's right and wrong. If you go into something and it's not totally right in your mind and you don't believe it, you're not going to do as well. You just won't. But if you believe in it, if I believe in helping you and I believe in you, I will do anything that I can to help you. And you will do the same for me and to that person there. Very important to believe in it. You can't fake performance if you don't believe in it. You just can't do it.
Do you have any tips if someone would to join the military?
Do you have any tips for people who plan to join the military?
Oh, any tips for those that are thinking about the military? Oh, I got lots of them. You know, some of them are just said in humor, like you don't volunteer for anything. No, that's not true. You do volunteer. You know, I have a quote on my portrait back there. This says, "Nothing's ever as bad as you think it might be." So just like right now, when you go from one school year to the next, you've heard things like, "Oh boy, don't take a course with that person." And then you find out, well, that wasn't a big deal at all. And in the military, because it's unknown. So don't worry about things that are unknown. And in the military, there's a whole bunch of stuff unknown. When you join in, every step of the way is an unknown. And you're going to hear rumors from others, those we used to call them jailhouse lawyers or quarterbacks or something, that knew just a little bit more than you that were there one day before and set the panic button in your brain, and you were just like now, you dreaded what you're going through, and you find out nothing's ever as bad as you think it might be. It isn't. Believe me, it's never as bad as you think it might be.
What were your thoughts or feelings when you were receiving the medal?
When I was receiving the medal, what was that?
What were your thoughts
Oh.
or feelings?
Couldn't you tell in that little video that I was nervous? In fact, what you couldn't tell is, I'm sure glad my pants were a little baggy because my knees were shaking inside their pants and you couldn't see them. But I was very, very, very nervous. But you can imagine, I was 24 years old. I might have been 25 then. That was January. So to want to be a good soldier, thought you did good, and be in the White House and the commander in chief is putting a medal around your neck. Can you imagine that? No, you can't. I couldn't either. I still can't. I was so very nervous. There were 4 of us on that day, and they wanted it to be, because it was President Johnson's very last act in office, was presenting the Medal of Honor, because they leave on the 20th, and this was the 16th. And those other 3 were other services, Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, all aviators. And I'm the lonely Army guy. And I didn't find out until later that other services were kind of PO'd because I was the very last one of the last thing that he did. And that's because I was a staff sergeant. The others could have been, if they'd have been a private, they'd have been after me. But no, I was very, very humbled. I had my family there, grandparents that knew more about the Medal of Honor than I did because there was a lot of them ordered in World War II. And I didn't realize then that once I left that East Room of the White House, that my life had changed. And then I won't tell you what President told me because it's not real polite, probably mixed group, but he tried to make me relax a little bit, and which only got me going a little bit more nervous. But no, I can't say it anymore. I was extremely nervous. I didn't know that my life was changed. And and it has. And that was how many years ago? 69 to 26? Who's the mathematician here? Long time. Good question. Thank you.
What led you to be the co-founder of the Center for American Values?
Well, that's a very good question. Brad Padula, the co-founder, the other person, we had just left visiting Jerry Murphy in the nursing home, who was one of the other recipients. The other 2 had just passed in a short order of time before Jerry, and Jerry was in the nursing home, not doing real well. And we went over to see him, and it was actually depressing. He had dementia of some sort. And so we remembered him from just 2 weeks before and how he changed. And we stopped off for have a sandwich and a cold beer, and we're talking about, isn't it too bad that a lot of the people in Pueblo didn't remember Jerry how he was. They might remember how he is now if they saw him. And we said, we got to do something to remember Jerry and the other guys and all these folks. And that's why we started the center. And that was 2010. And it went pretty fast from that point on. This was an old building that was being kind of gutted, and Brad Padula's father had just purchased it and was doing something with it, and we asked him about it. And he said, okay, you got it. We'll give you the ground floor. But that's how it started. And who'd ever thought 15 years that we'd be still talking about it? And some of you are pretty close to just being born when that started. And you know, it's going to be around for a long time. So bring your kids by here and you tell them the story of how it got started, that we did it to honor those that couldn't speak for themselves. And at that time, it was Jerry.
Do you think you lived your life to the fullest?
Can you help me on?
Do you think that you've lived your life to the fullest?
Oh, I thought so, but again, I can't answer something I don't understand because it might really embarrass me. But you never think that you've done enough. You really, I guess that's the drive in some people. Don't be satisfied with just reaching an intermediate objective. You should always have something to strive for. It keeps you going. And no matter what your age is, always strive to do the very best you can, no matter where you are in your life, because life is very short. Even if you live to be as long as me, it's still short. And you never know when it's going to be over. You just don't know. But you don't worry about it. I don't. Like a lot of those young soldiers on the battlefield, it was over pretty young for them at 18. But they were proud of what they were doing. And no matter how old you are when you leave this world, as long as you're proud of what you've done or you're doing now, somehow it makes it all worth it. Good question. Thank you very much. I think that's about it.
Yep, I think so. Drew, thank you very much for spending the time with us this morning and for being part of this program and coming to speak to our students. Please help me give Drew a big thanks for being here and sharing his message with us.
Thank you.
For those of you that are here in person, you've each been gifted by Drew a copy of our quote book from the Center for American Values. Each of the portraits that Drew mentioned on the wall have a quote associated with them, and all of those quotes have been collected into that book as a gift for you today. So please enjoy that, spend some time with that. If you have additional questions for Drew, you can stick around afterwards and ask some additional questions. But we want to say thank you for everybody who's here in person and for everybody who's joined us online. And thank you again to the East JROTC Color Guard for presenting our colors today. You all have a great rest of your day.